fight a bitch nigga, shot a real nigga. But we don't make no diss records, we just deal with it. Plus I be going through a lot, I never talk about it. And they using niggas songs in court, so I can't talk about it. Rap niggas think I'm dumb, like I don't see the play. I let them think they got the ups, and get them out the way. On FaceTime, my brother telling me he shot my mama, telling me to chill, but I know he seen that nigga face. But that's enough about that part. Talking about respect, well, it's a must about that part. Playing with my money, well, then it's up about that part. Cause when it's time to play ball, don't give a fuck about that part. They know I'm that nigga when they see me. Her man crush been a hater, her little brother won't beat me. Her friend been on my dick since I was passing out CDs. Her baby daddy a mark and her boyfriend probably a weenie. 3,300 on my book bag. Left some niggas in the past, but I don't look back. Shit kinda different, I ain't the man that I was. I seen death in too many forms, and I ain't never really shook that. Don't let him rock you to sleep, true colors better believe him. I know that God got me, but I be riding with my reaper. Praying with my kids, and even then I got my heater. And I be stepping so hard, this hoes in $1,000 sneakers. Take your bitch when I meet her, and you ain't seen her in about 3 days. Knew I was a threat, I passed that stick like a relay. Spin it back to back, it's like a motherfucking replay. Turn your son into a bitch when I shoot, I think I'm D-Wade. Told him I'm a savage, if I want it, I'ma have it. Playing with my lettuce, cook your head like a cabbage. Tell them that I'm rich and I'm solid, that's the advantage. Bitch, bad kids, fresh little nigga, you can't stand it. Tell them big checks, yardsticks, not a root. All I smoke is ops and I don't never smoke a hookah. Looking for a blessing that's worth it, Jesus and Judas. Tell them niggas game 6, my whole team full of shooters. I slide on a nigga like a motherfucking flip-flop. Pressure on your homie and I promise he a flip-flop. Talking that wookie-woo, something. I know the police listen, so I ain't really saying nothing. I know these niggas envy, they can't manage how they feel. Jealousy's for bitches, you niggas pussy for real. A nigga get the drop and he happen to shoot. First we heal up and get back. We ain't going on a shirt, I swear to God.
Now woo-de-woo, something. I know the police listen, so I ain't saying nothing. Talking now woo-de-woo, something. Nigga cock back and aim and leave you bleeding where you running, swear to God, nigga.
What's the deal, y'all? What's the deal? Rich Sharper tapping in TNN Trap News Network. Back in this thing like cook, cracking this thing here at TNN Trap News Network. Good news, your views, good knowledge, you ain't finna get nobody's college, big dog. Tap in with the tap in, man. It's Sunday, so we don't like to hold y'all too long. But if you could, please like, comment, subscribe for everything we got going on. Young and Hefe got some sad news for us, man. It looks like Tiny Hardhead out the 40s has been unalive just shortly after he was, possibly trying to bust a 1-2 step like Sierra. So we are actually finna take y'all to Young and Hefe. Don't care about nothing but what the checks say. Hit him with a like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you show Young and Hefe some love. Wait, hold on real quick. Let me show y'all this real quick. Hit him with a like, comment, subscribe. Show us some love. Tap in with the tap in. Like, comment, subscribe. I just did. Hit him with a like. You feel me? We finna jump into this content. Let's get into it. Let's go.
Topics. Tiny Hardhead from out the neighborhood rolling 40s. Y'all know what time it is, man. It's gang, man. It's gang time, gangland, man. So, respectable Rex, man. Y'all already know I stay putting y'all up on him. I see his subscribers going up. You know what I'm saying? I see his due diligence coming to him. So, he put together, man, another classic, man. Another good one, you know what I'm saying, that I ran into. So, however, this going to be about, as I said, Tiny Hardhead from out the 40s, you know what I'm saying? And also, allegedly, it's said that is C-Mac from 55th Street, neighborhood 55, Bestfriend. Now, I don't know their relationship, but obviously, there was a relationship there.
Free C-Mac.
There was some passion, when his name was mentioned to C-Mac. C-Mac went crazy, like, man, that's my brother, real ball player, you feel me, you know what I'm saying? So, obviously, they had been in them trenches with each other, you know what I'm saying? They had them nights, you know what I'm saying? Stepping with each other in or days, whatever the case may be. So, however, what I'm trying to figure out, or what we gonna have to understand going through this story, is the title was very controversial. The title of what respectable Rex placed out there, Tiny Hardhead from neighborhood 40s, or Tiny Hardhead, aka C-Mac Bestfriend, killed 4 hours after trying to put in work on the Hoovers or something happened. So obviously what it looked like to me,
it sounded like he went to go do a 1-2 step and it went wrong, and then they came back and did a 1-2 step on him.
What happened was, I don't know if respectable Ranch is trying to say that Hardhead was the one alleged for these crimes, that basically, He went on one, you know what I'm saying, try to go ball play on something, and then the revolving door came back around, and he got slid on and was unalive, you know what I'm saying? But from watching the content, what I could get from there, it just looked like, you know what I'm saying, it was a regular things, you know what I'm saying, a regular pro wells that happened in South LA. It seemed like somebody had came through on 88 and Vermont, you know what I'm saying, bordering, you know what I'm saying, the 8-track gangsters and the Hoovers, and it looked like somebody, you know what I'm saying, came to put some work in. Somebody from Hoover was hit. It looked like a Latino guy, you know what I'm saying, he was unalive, and somebody else. 3 people was hit in this assault that happened on 88 in Vermont. These people was coming out the liquor store, and I guess them coming out the liquor store on clue, whoever got on them, got on them. Now, you know, in this gang lifestyle and in this gang world and gang land, when you don't know who did it, what's the next best thing to
Get everybody who you think did it.
be done? Y'all hit everybody that y'all beefing with or that says they're a rival of your area. And if you're going back and forth with a rival area, then more than likely you already know. Definitely in today's age and time with this social
media, somebody didn't put that shit on the internet. You know exactly who to go back to.
media, people going back and forth, people sliding each other inboxes. Hey, I'm in y'all set right now. Hey, I'm over here trying to crip with y'all. Hey, y'all be out coming to people parks. Y'all see the little BS games that's being played out here on social media. I don't got to explain them to you. So, however, it seemed like something happened, and you know, on clue, it seemed like that the people that it happened to was out to enact revenge, you know what I'm saying, and slid back. So I don't want to hold you guys any much longer. We about to get into this content, and you already know, man, it's the Hef way and the Hef effect. We're going to commentate.
On Tiny Hardhead SET UP. A real playboy.
Dang, bro, this is kind of sad. Like, goodness gracious, the music is sad. Rest in peace to that man.
A real playboy.
In today's video, we're going to talk about Tiny Hardhead from the Rollin 40s. We're going to break down his murder case and how he was killed 4 hours after an attempted murder on some Hoovers, and how his alleged killer would only get probation since they were a minor during the situation. But let's get into it. The shooting happened in the...
Sheesh. It's kind of like with the Pop Smoke situation. It's like, man, they play with that situation with the minors, man. It's a different situation, bro, because you can only get so much time in California as a minor.
Early morning of July 29th of 2018 at 1:44 in the morning. Officers responded to a report of a shooting in front of a house located at 1037 West 43rd Street. When officers arrived, they saw people yelling, and then they saw a deceased male laying on the sidewalk. The male had a gunshot wound to the left chest and a left shoulder. A second victim, who was a female, would be hit in the hand. Police found numerous .40 caliber and 9mm shell casings everywhere. Police recognized the man laying on the sidewalk as Jashawn Hall. Jashawn Hall was a known member of the Rollin 40s and went by the moniker Tiny Hardhead, as you can see in the yellow. The whole thing was caught on camera, and they would see a white 4-door sedan and an older tan vehicle turn from Vermont Avenue onto West 43rd Street. They would then take a left on Kansas Avenue. Then 3 minutes later, police are alleging that 3 people would move surreptitiously, which means to be hidden or avoid to be seen, towards the victims, hunching over and using parked cars to conceal themselves. And once they got closer to the group on 43rd Street, the video would show muzzle flashes and 2 unidentified people appear to be firing guns. All 3 people flee from the scene, running west on West 43rd Street towards Kansas Avenue. But now we're going to show you where it happened. This right here would be where they found Tiny Hardhead, and that down there would be Vermont Ave, where the car came from. They would drive down here towards Kansas Avenue, take a left, then 3 minutes after the cars drove by, the video surveillance would show people creeping behind them cars and crouching. and opened fire on the group standing right here. But as you can tell, this would be a hot spot for the Rollin 40s, because the spot that they were originally standing at, as you can see right here, the graffiti would say Dark Side Rollin 40s. They would also have a 40 on the telephone pole, as you can see right there. And if you go down just about one house or one driveway down, you can see right here that they would have a bunch of hoods whacked out, and they would have Neighborhood Rollin 40s right here on the sidewalk. But now we're going to break down the motive behind why Tiny Hardhead lost his life, according to the police.
And it's crazy because in LA, you can for sure guarantee to know exactly where you are, exactly what gang hood you in, based upon the graffiti. The graffiti on the wall will tell you everything.
They're alleging that on July 28th of 2018, several hours before the situation with Tiny Hardhead, somebody named Marquise Ford, a member of the 5 Deuce Hoovers, was shot on 88th Street and Vermont Avenue. He survived, but another person lost their life, who was not a gang member. But 2 people actually lost their life during that situation, and 4 others were wounded. This situation happened at 8:40 at night on the corner of 88th Street and Vermont Avenue. And don't forget, the situation with Tiny Hardhead would happen at 12 in the morning, so they considered it July 29th. Police say there were 3 suspects, and they jumped out of a vehicle and opened fire on the 2 men that were leaving the liquor store. The person that lost their life that was with the Hoover member, that wasn't a gang member, would be Juan Antonio Lopez, who was 23 years old at the time, and he was actually from Compton. And like we said, there were 3 suspects, and they opened fire on him and the Hoover member as they were leaving the liquor store. 4 other people would also be hit, and another person would lose their life.
Yeah, so it's definitely just a lot going on, and it for sure looks like it's going to be a revolving door of payback, revenge, violence, tragedy, misfortune, and just continuous spread of trauma.
Named Juan Ayuso, who was 51 years old, and he was homeless. So there was 6 victims, and 2 would pass away. Police would then receive several tips, telling them to look into a house on 53rd Street of a 5 Deuce Hoover member named Casey Hervey. One officer testified that after he reviewed the surveillance footage, you can see somebody named Diaz arrive at Hervey's house in a white 4-door sedan. This was a minor.
Okay, so obviously, originally, I heard it wrong. You know what I'm saying? So, when I first logged into this, I was under the impression that they was trying to allege that Tiny Hardhead had went and played ball, and after him playing ball, 4 hours later, he was unalive. But that's not the case here. So basically what is being said is that whoever the people was, you know what I'm saying, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, they came on down to 88 in Vermont. Some people was coming out the store. Nowadays, you know what I'm saying, some people is recognizable. Some people don't care who they getting at, you know what I'm saying. Like, if you in an area, you know what I'm saying, you classify as these dudes.
You moving around at night, they gonna for sure think you one of them guys over there.
And you got some dudes, man, they recognize members and looking for members, you know what I'm saying. Whether they just, you know what I'm saying, see your aura, you know what I'm saying, see your face in passing on the Instagram, or whatever the case may be. However, these guys locked in on their targets, coming out the store, handled their business. Unalive 2 people. The 2 people that was unalive was said to not be gang members, but the one that did survive doing shot was said to be a member of the West Side Hoovers, or whatever the case may be. So, after this happened, LAPD, or whoever, because 88th and Vermont, I mean, LAPD do be through there, but that is like more like Sheriff Division. They're doing their investigation, and doing their investigation, and probably from their snitches, from people hoods or whatnot, what they stumbled upon is this shooting that happened right here on 88th and Vermont prompted to this shooting that happened on 43rd in Kansas, allegedly. We don't know that, but this is what they're trying to say. So that shooting happened 4 hours later. Somebody come on down to the 40s. The 40s out there hanging out, and they said, as y'all see, respectable Rance explained it. He said, they turned off Hoover.
So, I mean, with that all being said, too, though, it's like those hoods are in close proximity to one another, so it's not out of the ordinary or far-fetched to think that those 2 would know specific members of one another, because again, like, these dudes are really just across the street from one another, for real, for real.
Come down the block, spot the members out there, go up to the corner of Kansas, bank, make a left, park up, hop out the car, conceal themselves in the night and behind these cars. Once they get close enough for comfort, they open up fire, and them open up fire on a group that results in Tiny Hardhead being struck with bullets and him passing away. So from there, some more tips come in. Out the blue, they don't explain. The police get information of who's responsible for the shooting or the death of Tiny Hardhead from the police. They give them a house, a description on 53rd, over here, whatever the case may be. Police pull up to this house, start keeping surveillance. Once they pulled up, start keeping surveillance, one day they see two occupants of this house walking with a bag. Occupants spot the police. Occupants get on, get rid.
Well, yeah, there, right there is your probable cause right there. You know what I'm saying? To get on. They have no real reason to search the bag just because they're looking at you. You could beat that in court. The immediate not wanting to go to jail and taking off is what got them effed up.
In the bag, both occupants was caught. They say the mother come out the house. She tried to furthermore get rid of the evidence that was in the bag. Police apprehend her, get the bag, find a weapon, search around the house. On the side of the house where they seen the two occupants at, see that it look like it's like a brick moving or something, like a little hidden passage in the wall. However they find that, they find two more weapons. They go back to the police station, test these weapons, and one of these weapons come back for the ballistics and the unaliving of Tiny Hardhead. Now let's get back into the rest of this content, and you already know it's the head.
And that's all it takes right there, bro. All it takes.
Halfway to have effect, we gonna commentate.
So they just put his initials. And then a little bit after DS arrived, two people named Joshua Bly and Destiny Tillis would arrive at Hervey's house also. And they were both members of the 5 Deuce Hoovers. Destiny Tillis was a female though. Police would then get a video of DS and Joshua Bly walking out of Hervey's house with a group of males who officers could not identify. Some of the group would jump in the white sedan with DS as the driver, and some of the group would walk up to another car and jump in. And when the white sedan that DS was driving backed out of the driveway, the other car would follow them up 53rd Street. And the other car was a gold Honda. And like we said earlier, they would have surveillance footage of the shooting, so they would compare them vehicles to the vehicles that drove by West
43rd they need to lock your dumb double right up.
Street, where Tiny Hardhead was shot. The shooters would then run back to the vehicle that was parked on Kansas Avenue, and they would drive southbound. The two vehicles would then separate and go in different directions, but they would arrive at West 53rd Street almost at the same exact time. They would arrive there at 12:45 in the morning, 6 minutes after the shooting of Tiny Hardhead. Police then allege that approximately 30 minutes later, DS, who was the driver, returned to the white sedan several times. And one of the times that he returned to the vehicle, he would open the trunk and appear to put the license plate back on the sedan. And 2 days after Tiny Hardhead was killed, on July 31st of 2018, the police were doing surveillance on the house on 53rd Street, and they would observe Hervey and Tillis pulling a black bag out of shrubs on the side of Hervey's house. Hervey and Tillis would then run when they seen police officers. The officers would then give chase, and Hervey's mother would try to come outside and try to hide the bag for them.
Mom's is the realest nigga in this story.
Officers would see her do that and confiscate the bag. And inside the bag was a black 9mm Beretta. The officers would then search the area and find 2 more pistols inside a cinder block wall next to the driveway, a .40 caliber and a 9mm. But even though they found 3 guns, the one that would do the most damage would be the 9mm Beretta that they found in the bag that the mother was trying to hide. They would have a firearm examiner test the gun, and it would come back as one of the guns that were used to kill Tiny Hardhead. Because as you can see right there, the 2 pistols that were inside the cinder block was a .40 caliber Springfield and a 9mm Smith & Wesson. The Beretta was inside the bag that the mother was trying to hide. But even though police recovered the murder weapon and followed the vehicles back to the house on 53rd Street with surveillance cameras, they would still only file charges against DS, who would be the minor. In the court found that the murder and attempted murder were willful, deliberate, and premeditated. DS was declared a ward of the court and placed on probation. He was permitted to remain in his parents' home. But in 2003, he would appeal this, and he contended that there was insufficient evidence to establish that he knew any plan to commit the shooting, shared the shooter's intent to kill, or acted in any way to assist the shooting. He would also argue that the trial court abused its discretion by allowing the officers to make a testimony identifying DS as the person depicted in surveillance, saying that the officer that identified him never had a personal encounter with him. The appeal court would then agree with DS that the evidence was insufficient, and they would reverse the trial court's order, saying that the only evidence that the state had was the video of DS putting the license plate back on the white sedan and a video of him and Hervey doing a gang handshake in the driveway. But as you can see, they knew that DS wasn't the shooter, and he didn't identify the shooters either. And they're pretty much just alleging that DS was the getaway driver and he's not giving up the shooter, so he went down for it. And they would also argue that there was no evidence.
I mean, all I'm going to say is, number one, you see how things work when nobody snitches. You feel me? But this is just a crazy situation, bro. This is just, man, just, God bless everybody involved. God bless the families who lost loved ones. At some point, we got to just figure out how to do better in this gang culture.
That DS was privy to any conversations about the shootings before they occurred, or that he lied about his whereabouts afterward. And for all those reasons, they would reverse his convictions for the body and the attempt. And as far as the information online about this case, there would be no other arrest online. But condolences to the friends and family of everybody mentioned in this video, and that's going to wrap it up.
All right, so some other things I like to point out, some key components I like to point out is that all this was caught on camera, the whole unaliving. So y'all know these houses got Ring cameras, whether it's a camera on a pole, light pole, you know what I'm saying? You don't know what's going on nowadays. All this was caught on camera. They still didn't know who this was until they received the tip. And you know this tip had to come from somebody that knows these people. It got to. It got to come from somebody that knows these people. Guaranteed.
Yeah, because the details are way too specific for the tip to come from a complete stranger.
The police, while doing their investigation, went to house after house that had this unaliving on their Ring cameras. From there, every hood, I don't care what you say, every hood got them. Every hood has informants. They're everywhere. They're in every hood. Regardless of what you say, it might want to think, and I'm not saying who not doing spring cleaning and who is, but they everywhere regardless of the spring cleaning you're doing or not. They went to their CI and or snitch and was, who is these people right here? Who is this car? No, this is probably out of your area. The situation happened down there, and it seemed like that you blaming these guys over here. Oh, that's Wooty Woot. Wooty Woot, they be on 53rd. Wooty Woot house. Police go over there, start doing their surveillance. Look like, don't quote me on this, but I want to say that I think they seen the car, which, yeah, you could quote me that they seen the car that
You better believe that's somebody saying that's Wooty Wop at the Wooty Band at so-and-so house for sure.
was on camera and that parked up, you know what I'm saying, before they hopped out and got to sparking. Now, what was done, this car, they said allegedly the license plates was took off, you know what I'm saying, and you already know what that was taken off for, you know what I'm saying. You ain't got to be a rocket scientist and brain surgeon, and if you're not in the lifestyle and if you don't know, well, you can ask somebody else that question, you know what I'm saying, but how...
That's a pretty, yeah, if you don't know, just go ahead and Google that one.
However, them license plates was took off, you know what I'm saying.
That's one of the older tricks.
And they said...
But in today's day and age, that's actually not enough.
The police say one day while they surveilling, surveillance where they got the drop at, the house, they see two occupants, one of them right there, you know what I'm saying, trying to put the license plate back on the car. Looked like he took something out the trunk or trying to put something in the trunk before they spotted the police and the chase went on that I explained to you guys beforehand. So, one of the guys, whoever house that was, and that was a minor who mama came out and tried to, help him out of the situation, it looked like he was the guy that was taken down for this unaliving because he was the only one that they could identify. Him going down.
And you know what? He got off because he could prove that he didn't do anything. And that's, again, just a testament to people not snitching on one another, but just even deeper to the fact of it's just sometimes the cookie crumbles like that, man. And it just makes you question your decisions because, you can get unalived by a kid out here. And now here you are, have lost your life, and the kid just moves on with his like everything is normal. And the world just continues to spin without you.
They saying he was the driver, but he was a juvenile that was hoping that taking him down that he would tell all the other occupants that was in the car with him. However, he held steadfast, kept his mouth shut, didn't say nothing, took his time. They say he got probation, but somehow he was fighting something, and I don't know if he was in placement or something, but I know he was took out the custody of his mother, and it was some crazy stuff going on. But lo and behold, through this case, it was overturned because he filed an appeal saying that it's a lot of loopholes in this case. Y'all got witnesses that don't know what they talking about. I got an officer that I never had an encounter with that's saying and placing me at a place and basically...
Now, that's a huge misstep for the police. The officer that can identify him that he's never had an encounter with, that's a huge misstep.
That he knows me. It was all type of stuff. So, however, through these loopholes, the Supreme Court ruled in the favor of the juvenile who had went down for the unaliving of Hardhead, and he was returned back and allowed to get his freedom. But through all in all, what I'd like to point out is that you got to be more careful out here. You got to be more careful. Whether you playing a cop, whether you playing a robber, whether you the prey or you the one getting preyed on, man, you got to be more careful out here in these streets, man.
Whether you the prey or the one being preyed on, nigga, the prey or the hunter, words are hard.
Because
if you the prey, essentially you are the one being preyed upon.
Dang.
Either you're the prey or the hunter.
But I'm going to conclude this there, man.
All right, man. Make sure y'all show some love to Young and Hefe, man. We up out here to the next one. Y'all know the deal. Y'all know the deal. Y'all know the deal. Red dots to the left. Y'all know the rest. We are gone.